Passport diaries stamped and sealed, journeys beyond borders. Welcome to Gypsy Soul Journeys, the space where we bridge the metaphysical to the physical, where spiritual insights converge and magic awakens. I'm your host, Demi Ward, and I'm excited to embark on this transformative journey with you. In each episode, we'll dive into the realms of travel, mindset, spiritual awakening, self-discovery, manifestation, abundance, galactic quantum technologies, and the profound ancient wisdom that activates and guides us on the path to a more expansive existence. Welcome to your one-stop freedom shop where we break you free from the matrix, baby. Whether you're a seasoned seeker starting to explore the world of spirituality or the art of wanderlust on this divinely delicious planet, this podcast is a sanctuary for those looking to nourish their souls, expand their consciousness, ascend to their highest timeline, and embrace the transformative power from within. Let's uncover the timeless field of unlimited potential. This is Gypsy Soul Journeys, where the power of your spirit meets the art of creation. Let the journey begin. Lolsies fam, I've done some serious work to be able to let the word delicious slide from my mouth. It is the small things that are the epitome of healing these days. If you know, you know. So take up some space, strap right in, get ready for the roller coaster. I am coming live from my fucking van, guys. Today I was in New South Wales and I was on the phone to my mentor and she was like, bitch, start a fucking podcast. Because she knows how much value I have to share with this world. And to be honest, I've been a disgraceful gatekeeper. I was like, babe, no shit. My guides have been hounding me to do this before I went away. But who the hell wants to hear me babble on? I love my freedom and my privacy, and my guides really want me to use the word gypsy, and I don't know, like most people think that gypsies are no good. Perfect. Show me that sweet little spot. Show me those limits I'm placing on myself. I dare ya. Cool. Looks like this is the next space. And well, yes, you know exactly where I'm going with this. You little nasty asses. I know you're thinking about something right now where you're like, maybe I should just do that thing. But I can't because of this and this and this. Yeah, those cheeky little spirits in your ears. Do not worry, we're going to be sending those little bad boys home to the light. All it takes is that one last little whisper. So here it is. Do the thing. And here is your reminder that failure is like the stock market. You only fail when you decide to give up. Keep your energy in something until there's a payoff. You can keep that little baby in your metaphysical tool belt. So here I shall be, the permission piece to say what you want, do what you want, and to trust that something good always comes from everything. The details of the how and the in-between is never our business. And who knows, we may just become absolute besties because I followed this one little whisper. So here's some big shit the pants zone for me, and I trust there is magic in this for us both. So guys, I just got back from Egypt and oh my god, holy shit do I have some things to share. You know that feeling when you are so mind blown that you have no words and you just pause unable to blink for a while? Yeah, well, that lasted for a while, hey. Like I am the queen of magic, and that magic blew me away. It was a super interesting space though. There's been many gifts within this. And I've been integrating, as some would say, which is basically the biggest slow-moving energy, an excuse to tap out and not take action. I've spent many years I'm integrating these 1,000 resources that I've learned and the 100 books that I've read. But come on, what's it all been for? I'm here to help you actually action your downloads. You are the chosen channel, and you betcha I'm going to have you knowing this. Can we just take a moment to think about what good ever comes from? I need to think about it. I want to feel into it. A whole bunch of wasted time and opportunity. Every time we don't say yes and take action on something, it ends up going to someone else. And on that note, let's do a little dropper-innerer. If you want to align and decide in 2 seconds, then let's go there. So get comfy and begin to think about the thing that you're currently thinking about or deciding on. We are going to be dimension hopping. I want you to think or feel what it would be like on the other side if you said yes to this thing. How does that feel in your body? Did you feel expansion or contraction? Did you drop into the lower spaces in your body? Did you experience tingles? If it isn't a full fuck yes, my body's going to explode, then it's a no. And I don't know about you, but I'm a massive yes girl. Like, why would opportunity and magic show up in my reality if it's not meant for me to be taking it? You cannot give me a Christmas present and then tell me that I should think about whether I should receive it. Come on. So here's your little nudge if you're continuously in the loop of deciding or integrating. You can do it right now by telling your mind to process and download the energy through your body. This has been a big lesson since I got home. So how's this for a synchronicity? Actually, no, I'm going to take you on the journey of Egypt in another episode. So let's give you a little background on who I am, what I do, and why you should play in my space. Let's talk energy. This is a space that I like to master. If there's anything that I want to master in this life, it's going to be what I'm made of and what the universe is made of. And if you feel good midway or after listening to this, then it's your whisper to come back. When I first started on this journey, I got around the feeling so much that I became it. I had whatever I could get my hands on in my ears, continuously helping me to shift my vibration. If I listen to something that makes me feel good, then surely I'm going to attract things in my life that also make me feel good, right? Vibration attracts vibration. Yeah, it does. And just so you know, I got my guides to go and speak to your guides so they could whisper in your ears to be here today. So if you've followed this whisper, acknowledge yourself in this moment for hearing the call. You are far more connected than you think. So where it all began, I'm a country kid. This life was never meant for me. There is not many people in my town walking this far out of the box that I know of. Now I look back, my guides must have whispered so deeply in my parents' ears, hey. Like, could you imagine this soul mission bouncing around in one place my whole life? Yeah, no. Which leads me to environment. This is everything. And I'm going to make a whole nother podcast about this within itself. I was atheist most of my life. I was the odd kid who wrote a note at 6 so I could sit out of any religion class. I would get a medical certificate to say, fuck you, I've got claustrophobia of my feet and I will wear these shoes if I like. I was very strong in my belief that I'll never be told what to do, and I broke every system that tried to keep me in order. I'm heavily grateful now that my higher self was keeping me blank canvas, but I walked around life pretty confused. Where did this all come from? I was so far away from source that I was forced to make my way back. And I want to share this because I've come to learn how powerful sharing our story is for others. It's the space where we gain deep insight and wisdom into our own journey, and it awakens the mask that they wear in their everyday lives unknowingly. So whilst this is vulnerable as hell for me, I'm going to do it for you. If the word lone wolf, people pleaser, high achiever, caregiver, good girl, or rescuer resonates somewhere in your body, you may experience some light bulbs switching on throughout this. And like any great mindset mentor, I want to acknowledge that speaking our story is only purposeful when it is spoken with the ending being our recognition of our success, our realization of how we moved out of it, so we don't relive the story's frequency and fall victim to our experience. We aren't trauma bonding around here anymore. At the ripe old age of young, my parents made the best decision ever to move us out of the tiny town I grew up in. Such a gift, yet, for an astral travelling, spirit talking, change hating, empathic child, worst nightmare. I was sent to school where they would put me up grades and then back down grades when I'd go back to New South Wales. A story of, hello friends, see you later friends. I wonder if this is where the gypsy inside of me was born. Well, that's a moment of realisation. When we came back to Queensland for the last time, I was put into a class above my age group. They were talking periods and I was talking Barbies. Separation, difference, isolation, all of the above. It amazes me now that I love being the new girl in town, yet it's the space that caused me the greatest trauma. Bingo! Our greatest gifts are always through our greatest pain. This is a lot of people's stories, and if you're here and you resonate, I see you. At the time, I had no idea what was happening to me. I was so disassociated from my body and I was hanging in the astral plane. It took me up until February of this year to actually get my spirit to stay in my body. And if you know that journey, you know that journey. So if you were the kid that was exhausted from your dreams, scared of waking up, you went to sleep seeing those little coloured dots, and you struggled to stay awake in school, then welcome, you're in the right place. If you were that kid that loved playing with your Barbies, your tea parties, or whatever it was, you name it, and you liked playing alone with the door shut so you could have your conversations, we're going to discover some juice here. We've all got them. It's how willing we are to remember that will walk us down the pathway of magic. Looking back, I couldn't explain what was happening to me. I still to this day don't think I could fully explain the degree of what was happening. All I could really say was I was experiencing being in between worlds. The shifting of grids and thousands of timelines. I was truly in and out of this simulation. It was wild. The funny thing was, there was not one adult in the schooling system that was conscious enough to understand a spiritual awakening. Mission fully activated to change this system. I was labelled with anxiety, and what I believed was great care from the teacher at the time. I was told not to say anything, to sit by myself, and if I just smile, no one will ask. So she was doing the best that she could with her resources at the time, yet that system drastically failed me. They put me into a room alone down in an office to help with my anxiety. They would make one girl come down and be my friend for an hour at a time. And thank God for her, because that poor girl experienced that too. And I look back and I just think, fuck man, that's wild. The thought of that happening to someone I love now, murder. Kidding, love and light, always. But if you don't laugh, you cry. Luckily, I've healed this enough to speak of it, because experience is just experience. But I developed a very dark program of abandonment and a deeply wounded feminine. It's so illogical to handle an experience of deep separation with more separation. And I now see this as our reality reflects our internal state of being, yet the child within me was like, what the fuck? Kids are laughing and playing around me everywhere I look, and I'm broken. Someone reset factory settings, shit man. So when the feminine doesn't feel safe to express emotions, the masculine does the ripe old task of overcompensating and creating safety through logic. The only way out was physically out. Because what the fuck do you do at that age when you're downloading universes of information that cannot be comprehended and everyone around you isn't conscious enough to help you? You become your own healer. You tap into a source of love that cannot fail you. And I heavily believe that those that are connected to spirit are those that have discovered the deepest darkness. For when you can't find the source of love around you, you must go to the source. And in saying all of this, I have an amazing family, yet no one knew about a spiritual awakening back then. The things that happen to us for a reason. So beings flooded my room, and I remember it clear as day. They were showing me grid lines working on my body. They were showing me years' worth of movies in a flash of a singular moment. It was sort of like an emergency call in the nursing world, but with multi-dimensional beings. I was told I was on Earth for a reason and I could not leave. They showed me signatures, groups of beings, and threw me into an abyss of consciousness whilst they did their thing. They are the only words that I can use to explain what happened. It was silence while accessing multitudes of information. And when I picked up the Joe Dispenza book when I was 25, I opened that first page and it was the same download. It was universes of information. My spiritual team had a lot of work to do. And I now recognize this whole process as being shown soul contracts and the soul family we move through this existence with, and source. This time in my life got covered over, and it was the black hole of something weird happened to that kid. Everyone did the best that they could, but she got swept right under the rug. I didn't remember much of my childhood. Like most people, not remembering your childhood or having blank spots is keeping you away from your gifts. My greatest gift now lays in connection, compassion, and love, the things I desperately needed the most. And your access point to yours are the depths of love at a time when you also needed it the most. This is what I call the real self-love journey. I only remembered that this had happened to me at 27 because a beautiful friend of mine was gifted his choice to leave and return home. It awoken and cycled me back through my own experiences. I oddly understood, had deep compassion, and I was so happy that his prayers were answered, which is not the usual response to something like that. A lot of people say to me that this is an easy journey, like these were just gifts from a young age. Yet I didn't remember these until I was 25. I was smack bang in that matrix like you wouldn't believe. These gifts lay in all of us. It's the unlocking of them that opens the doors to deep devotion. The next 17 years followed with a super dark pathway of suppression. I was poisoning my body so I could stop feeling everyone's pain on a night out and be able to walk into a room of people. I was known as the person who blacked out every weekend. I had the abusive relationships, the antidepressants just to stay in them, and I was told I'd be on those for the rest of my life. Yeah, right. The label anxiety and depression can be such a gift when you shift the lens. To have your body responding to your situation, letting you know that you're out of alignment somewhere, is the only GPS system you need. That is if you're willing to sit in the discomfort and look at it and make changes. Us starseeds chose the darkest path of experience. We go through everything so we can actually hold the highest vibration of love and compassion. I know this now that I've finally started to connect with others who have walked this same path. And to have access to sources like this if you're going through it now is everything. Like seriously, I cannot express how much of a blessing social media is. Everything I do now is fully self-discovered through my channel. I thought I was just skits. I never knew this whole journey would have me helping people out of their darkness. So trust in the things that you're going through, because I now know that we cannot discover the light without the dark. The pendulum has to exist. So this pattern played out in my life until it had to stop. I found myself in a connection where my feminine felt so deeply unsafe. I was only accepted as the one-dimensional good girl, and I'd only receive love if I was smiling and people-pleasing. Sound familiar? If I did show up with anything other than happiness, there was something apparently wrong with me, and there would be an argument. Any emotion I felt was not accepted and met with the threat of abandonment every time. Emotions were not safe, to feel was weakness, and speaking of the way I felt literally meant death. This is why it's so important to go back and make the past conscious, so it stops unconsciously playing out in your life now. So 25 came around and the universe saved me. Legend. I was walking one day on my usual beach route and I had this feeling fall off my shoulders. I forgive. And not just the people who have hurt me, but I forgive myself for allowing things to have gone on for so long. This then opened the door to the time I was awoken through love. And there's a massive piece in forgiveness that heals massively through all timelines and dimensions. And if there's something that pops into your mind right now, I really urge you to go and look at it. I remember looking into the eyes of this being and feeling all of my chakras switch on. My inner child was alive. It was the first time I felt seen, felt loved, and felt safe. I could play and be silly without judgment. It was the deepest, most expansive feeling of love in my body. I'd never experienced anything like it before. I was so shut down to be able to feel in my body that what may have been a normal connection for others felt like the deepest connection that alivened my spirit. Every dimension of the lights had switched on, spiritually, sexually, physically, mentally, in a singular moment. It was so intense that I actually couldn't control myself, my mind, my emotions, my desires, yet my beliefs and patterns were still front and center. It was then that I had to go break my own heart to go figure it all out. The old parts of me had to die. I had to learn to master my mind, to feel my emotions, and actually spend some time with myself outside of caring what everyone thought of me. I was adamant to break the cycle of pushing blame on others for my unconscious shit. I had the realization that I was seeing people, places, and things through the lens of my past experiences, which is totally fucking unfair, and it is my job to stop that. There were some spirits that needed sending home to the light, let me tell you. Which, of course, then came the pendulum swing. Deep, deep grief, deep, deep longing, deep, deep separation. When the third eye activates before clearing out trauma, energies surface, and it's really fucking dangerous. Demons in the form of thought patterns. Awakening at a low vibration means you can see the low vibration, which is why I'm so passionate about getting people ahead before this happens. The next 3 years were a product of healing day in and day out. To best explain, the first dark night of the soul was a product of 25 years of unfelt emotions. They say your higher self shows you and activates you when you're ready, but I don't know, felt kind of premature. But these were the hardest years of my life, which is such a dichotomy because it was also the time when I began to feel alive. So this was when I found Reiki. It was either Psych Ward or Reiki. I had no clue what it was, but after my days as a nurse, like shit, I was going to the Psych Ward. When my psychic gifts began to come online after being activated, I dead set thought I had psychosis. My third eye was so switched on. I had been reconnected to all dimensions so quickly that it was so overwhelming. I had months of insomnia journeying and consciously recognizing the journeys and their meanings. I discovered that the journeys I was going on, I was remembering from astral traveling my whole life. I was a spirit healer. People would message me for Reiki after they had visited me in Dreamland. And the discovery of all of this began to wig me out. There was nobody talking about this back then. I was seeking so hard to figure out what the hell was happening to me. And if you could see my Google search history from back then, holy shit, you would have checked me in too. I remember leaving that session feeling like my life had changed. The day someone said to me, "It's okay, babe. You're a beautiful psychic starseed. You're a magical indigo child just like me." I had never heard of anything like this before. I didn't even know what a chakra or sage was at this point. I was your average accounting-minded nurse that refused to be told what to do. I was always super backwards, but I didn't realise I was this backwards. Which is forwards, but you know. Psychics used to tell me all the time that I was sitting on the wrong side of the table, and I would think, yeah, right, babe. So tell me, am I with the right person? And they'd be like, babe, you wouldn't be here if you were. It's crazy now I look back, and you can probably relate to this. You know when your intuition is screaming at you because you know someone or something isn't right for you? They do everything under the sun that should destroy you, but you don't trust yourself enough to leave. So the universe throws information right in front of your face and you get called a psycho for discovering it. Oh, you mean psychic? Yeah, that's what I was all those years. Funny how many times it has to be shown as true before you accept your path. Truly. And here we are. The rest was the universe walking me through to everything I've discovered now. The success from this story was that through my ability to feel safe in my feminine, I started channeling. I remembered consciously that I'd been channeling my guides and speaking light language for many years. I began activating other people into their soul gifts, and things began manifesting insanely quickly. When the lower vibrations shift in your being, this is what happens. And this is why I'm so passionate about removing these energies out so that you can begin to receive the things that you desire. You are able to access your vortex of desire so much quicker when you're moving in a vibration of that which you want. I broke free from the matrix at 25, and I haven't had an alarm clock for 4.5 years, which is what I truly believe is the reason most people are sick. A dysregulated nervous system first thing in the morning is your gateway to a low vibration. So my guides took me through some really beautiful spaces in discovering all of these things. And this one day I had this desire where I just wanted to get paid to eat fine dining. And then it manifested. That's when I realized that I am creator. And this experience happened to me so I could teach others how to do the same. Until I anchored in, throughout that period of my life, that I had bigger things to do on this earth. And making money in a way that isn't soul aligned or connected to soul aligned people, it's soul destroying. And there were so many beliefs I had to break to be able to experience this. This was coming from somebody who worked 3 jobs at age 13 and chose the pathway of nursing because I thought it was the right thing to do, and I believed I had to work hard to make money. So then I went from receiving Louboutins from unsoul-aligned humans to building a van so I could escape the life of the unhappy Richies. I was experiencing this time and space. I had to discover why this type of energy was making its way to me with people that I wasn't connected to, yet I was struggling to receive the love from those that I did. This was when the journey to self-love emerged. I threw everything the Matrix tries to tell us we want away, the energy leaking friends, all down the drain, and I started from the beginning. Fully jumped off the cliff into the abyss of the unknown. Approaching the fool's journey with total trust. Because what's the worst that can happen? And what this desire gifted me was, I had all the time in the world to channel my guides and truly walk out this path. I'm now a multidimensional channel, a Reiki master, and a manifestation and ascension mentor. I help ordinary people awaken to their soul gifts, clear ancestral trauma. We do past life healings to clear out their channel so that they can create their soul-aligned life and businesses. I get them connected to their guides and take them through this magical journey within to access the high vibrations and dimensions. In the last 6 months, I stepped out of being self-mastered and recognized the power of mentorship. My passions for channeling, the fifth dimension, spirit guides, and journeys all got to come to life in my 3D. I like to call this a spirit guide in the physical. We need someone who gets us, someone who knows what we've been experiencing and is a step in front of us to keep our nervous system regulated when we make our next steps. It's the knowing that if they can do it, so can you. Since then, I've collapsed time and space faster than I ever imagined. I've gone from making $100 off a Reiki to 100 timesing my income with soul-aligned clients. There is some flip in the program around spirituality that I'm here to break. To not need anything is one thing. To live in all dimensions abundantly is another. But to shift out of the vibration of scarcity is when lack becomes love. The space where we are all trying to return back home to. Abundance in the hands of good people means abundance gets spread wildly. A part of this journey is to break the hell out of a low vibration of lack and fear. The only gateway with this in society is money. If I can get you to shift that space first, then I know that every other space in your life is going to shift. It is the one way that the Matrix keeps you stuck and hooked. An example of proof of this. How many people do you know that gave their body and their autonomy over for the sake of money and needing to keep a job? Ask most people why they made that decision. When we begin to shift our mind to recognizing that who we are, just because we are, is worthy of massive abundance, things then begin to shift. And I will say it over and over until it sinks in. Your gifts and experiences in this lifetime are worthy of massive compensation. For every person that you help, you not only change their pathway, but every person who they come in contact with. And you betcha that woman in Coles that you smile at because you feel grateful when you walk in is the one who is contagiously smiling at the rest of her customers, who are then going home, giving more love to their kids, who are hanging out with your kids. It is the butterfly effect. Don't ever think that the small things that you do aren't purposeful. If you can find the gift in everything you do, your existence here is more than enough. And if just existing and showing up better than yesterday is your purpose for today, then that too is enough. I made it my absolute promise to get behind my self-belief around this so deeply so I can discover how to expand my life at a rapid rate to put me in a position where I can teach you to do the same. And you can take my hard yards and you can run with it. So then people started coming to me asking me to teach them all these things. And voila! The manifestation of travel and channeling became a reality. My life is a floating journey to different spaces on Earth now, receiving the codes and sharing them from each space of land. And it's been a whole vibe since then. I've owned who I actually am, and through this, soul-aligned friends and business magnetizers. That can only happen when you yourself are soul-aligned. Go back and repeat that again until it sinks in. So there, of course, is both sides of this journey, but more often than not now, it's more than I could ever have imagined. I wake up most days with tears in my eyes because I'm so damn grateful. I have freedom in all dimensions. I move about freely in my van that I channel through spirit. My mind is my best friend and my spirit team are my family. My emotions are my inner GPS, and I walk each day just listening to the whispers. And who would have thought that through being willing to sit through your darkness that you'd be gifted this much beauty? So trust me when I say, if you're experiencing this right now, all the ins and the outs of this, then you are full of magic. Everybody is full of magic. The moment you stop comparing yourself and thinking that someone has something that you don't, that is when your life will change. We all come from the same source. We all can access the same energy. It's when you decide you're worthy of that things begin to make their way to you. So I know that my mission here is to awaken this for everyone who crosses my path. And we don't ever meet people by mistake. Life is actually supposed to be this beautiful, and I'm not joking. The day that landed, I was like, why the hell did I do that to myself for so long? So it's when you decide you are ready for more that the experiences can actually begin to magnetize to you. And well, if you've made it this far into this episode, I'm fairly certain that you know that you're going to create magic in this world, and you know that you're going to be abundant as fuck, and you know you're going to have the deepest, most expansive, passionate relationship of your life. You can just feel it. It is a knowing. And like the universe, the you inversed. Take this knowing that you can only see life through your lens. Like we can channel and remote view, but at the end of the day, everyone around us is a character in our game. They are who we choose and believe them to be. They must walk out their assigned role. A beautiful friend of mine spelled it out like this. The universe, God, source, whatever you believe in, is the waiter who is always taking our order. So what are we asking for? So if you look at your life right now, you will see what you've been ordering. If you don't like lasagna, I suggest you stop ordering lasagna. So here's where we bring the mind and energetics into this whole shebang. I hope you're excited for this journey into all of the dimensions. This is the space where we get to ascend so we can live in an existence free from the paradigms, the programs. We can unplug from the matrix by plugging into the source from within. Thank you for listening to my first podcast. Stay tuned for my next about Egypt. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. And if you're ready to kickstart your journey in 2024 and gain massive momentum, come join me for my 5-day Manifest Mastery Challenge starting on the 3rd of January. Stay tuned for the birthing of my next creation coming on the 11th of the 1st because we love the 111s. And as a massive thank you, I'll be giving away $1,500 worth of prizes for being here and celebrating this leap in this journey. All you have to do is give me a review, a like, and support this channel, and share this on your social media. I'll be going live on the 14th with the first prize winner at 7 p.m. All the links to my information are below. I'd love for your support so I can get this out into the world for the people who need it. If you want to learn more about how to work with me and finally step into your power, message me on Instagram at Demi_Ward. If you hear the whispers, slide on into my DMs. I love you lots like jelly tots. Stay happy, stay shining, and stay sexy.